today's episode of the We Talk series. I hope all of you are in the best of your health. Today, we are all set for another fascinating interaction. And for those who are joining us for the first time today, the We Talk brings to you the most prominent industry voices as they share precious experiences and insights with us about what's happening in the HR ecosystem, what changes we should look forward to, and most importantly, what's keeping HR leaders on their toes. So joining us today is Mr. Sekhar Sahay, Head HR, Thales India. A very quick introduction about Sekhar before we jump onto our discussion today. So he's responsible for leading and directing the human resource team to deliver comprehensive HR services to Thales in India. He's an accomplished professional with extensive experience in the HR sector. Prior to joining Thales, Sekhar was the head of talent management at Ericsson India, where he was also in charge of performance management, leadership talent identification, assessment and development, as well as employee engagement. So with that, a very warm welcome, Sekhar, to today's conversation.
It's a pleasure, Saki.
Looking forward to an interactive discussion with you. So to start off with today's question and to set the context for our discussion, I would like to ask you that if you can shed some light on your employer's branding strategy and how it has gradually evolved over the past few years. If you can help share your experience with that.
Yes, indeed. Thanks, Shaki, for that question. A few years ago, post a major global acquisition that we did, a need was felt to define who we are and what do we stand for. We chose building a future we all trust as our motto. Our employee branding strategy revolves around who we are and what we stand for. We have a very clear employer value proposition that has been defined through a consultative process involving employees at all levels of the organization. And this EVP is centered around three key pillars: mindset, we master technology in the service of society; culture, we care about balance, enabling our people to succeed; and growth, where we talk about opening up career journeys and expanding our collective expertise. So our employer branding strategy pivots around these principles.
Great. Talking about an organization from a very holistic perspective, Sekhar. Can you throw some light on your DE&I agenda, since that's a very pertinent topic nowadays when it comes to any organizational growth?
Yes, indeed. We are a technology company, Baisakhi, right? What we do influences our customers across both the civil and defense businesses, and eventually touching billions of lives every day. As we like to say, from the depth of the oceans to space and cyberspace, right? Now, the steps towards achieving our purpose of building a future we can all trust requires an active participation and solicitation from all sections and stakeholders of our society, right? Now, globally, we have a very strong commitment to the ESG agenda, and all 81,000 employees of Thales are mobilized to promote this and achieve the set targets. And D&I is a core part of that ESG agenda. In India, we have a large engineering talent base. While individual brilliance is good, we appreciate collective work more. And in that sense, our performance management system looks at the what and the how. In that sense, inclusion is integral to our ways of working. To give you some more, in India, we have been able to improve our gender diversity in 2022. More importantly, we have been able to make significant progress in the gender diversity amongst our managerial staff. And the proof of the pudding, as they say, is the fact that in 2022, for a fourth year in a row, we have been recognized as India's 100 best companies to work for women by Avatar, which is an external consulting company. That kind of shows the commitment and proactive HR policies that we have in place to promote diversity and inclusion at Thales.
So, Sekhar, very well put as to how Thales as a group is working towards gender diversity. So this leads me to my next question, that when we are talking about diversity, now amalgamation of the new generation and the ongoing generation is another very interesting topic to discuss upon. And I believe being in the industry for so long, what is your take on the new generation entering the workforce? And most importantly, how do you think their expectations differ from that of the previous generation?
Well, interesting question again. Uh, we are a multi-generational and multicultural organization at Thales. A key expectation that we have observed that Gen Z have is their need to connect with a purpose. Now, this could be in terms of their own role and the purpose of that role, but also the overall purpose of the organization and the impact the organization is having on society at large. And that is what we seek to provide at Thales. I circle back to what I shared earlier about the mindset, culture, and growth, our EVP. And it's all about connecting to the purpose, which is very, very crucial for Gen Z.
So very well mentioned, Shekhar. And on this point, I would like to weave in two thoughts together. First, you have already shared as to how, in terms of new generation, the overall expectation has changed. So that leads me to another topic, that is, with this entire COVID situation, the entire work scenario has been disrupted. Some has gone completely virtual, some are going into the hybrid mode. So I would like to know that how are your employee engagement strategies working, especially when discussing remote and hybrid work setup? So how at Thales you are dealing with that?
So since the beginning of COVID at Thales, we took the lead to establish through obviously discussion with our managers that interaction is key to making the hybrid scenario work. What do we mean by that? Right? The nature of work that we do at Thales makes it even more important to have opportunities for regular connect between teams. So we empowered our managers to determine how their teams will work, office or remote, to what proportion of in office and to what proportion remotely, right? And how we work together to get the best from ourselves and our teams. So we just empowered our managers to make that decision. Okay. Now, it's one thing to empower, but we also needed to provide them the tools. So to help our managers, we included remote working as a learning module in all our leadership development programs, right? This, right? I mean, basically to give them the necessary tools to leverage that empowerment. Now, this was further complemented by our focus on mental well-being for all our employees, right? We provided opportunities for all our employees to consult with mental health professionals where needed, right? And this even continues today. So, amongst all other things, these are the few things that I would like to highlight.
Sure, great to know that. Shekhar, this kind of brings me to my last question, and I would love to know that, you being an industry veteran in this space for so long. So, can you share some of the most prominent challenges that you have faced in the talent acquisition space? And we would definitely love to know your strategies to overcome them.
Well, thankfully, we have been able to meet our rather aggressive hiring needs based on our business requirements for the last many years, and more particularly during the COVID years as well, which is says quite something about how we go about it, right? Now, and these hirings are mainly for our engineering centers in Bangalore and in Noida. That hiring will continue apace in 2023 and 2024. So we will continue with that aggressive hiring for the coming future. Now, one of the things that we did was to use our internal talents as our brand ambassadors to attract new talent, right? And we did that by using different mediums, including social media and stuff like that, right? So I think that's one of the key things that I would like to highlight.
Sure. And any particular, challenge that you have faced in this space over the last few years, if you would like to highlight
But
some?
the challenges are always in the initial phases was about answering the question around remote versus offline, 100% offline kind of a thing. And that we have overcome over a period of time. And now we see less and less of that.
Sure. Thanks so much. And with that, we can wrap up our conversation for today. Thank you so much, Shekhar, for sharing your fantastic knowledge with us. I absolutely loved conversing with you. And I'm sure our viewers gained many such important insights from you as well. So, once again, thank you all for joining us today. We will be back with another exciting episode very soon. Till then, stay safe, everyone, and keep talking.